lower side, that's going to be Shadra versus Bokonko, and this is going to be a very interesting set coming in right now because these are players that are both, I'd say, at similar levels. I think they're similarly ranked and similarly seeded, but their experience with the game and their time with the game has been very, very different. Shadra has been grinding communities for years and years and years, and I would trust Shadra to have quite a bit of experience. Meanwhile, Bokonko, I think that name is going to have a lot more recency bias as opposed to some of the experience that Shadra is going to have. So even though they're at very similar levels, I think their experience and where their career has how their career is shaped up to this point is very different. So we have two players taking different routes to the same location, and gotta say it is quite a scenic view.
Oh, that's Isaac. Well, just like you were saying, I totally agree on the fact that, Bokonko is probably going to be the fan favorite. He really has been making a name up for himself in the competitive scene in EU.
Oh.
No, something that I did want to mention is I'm kind of interested by the sudden use of Thor in competitive. Like, after everybody saw Jeff and CEO playing Thor and all this stuff that happened, it's like, suddenly just people realized, oh my god, this character is actually pretty good because... I mean, you got a strong weapon just like Hammer, then you got Orb. So far, a little bit of a struggle to keep up with the damage considering how Shadra is playing around with the side, but there we go. Hammer is doing the works.
No, I think it's been a long time since Thor has been bad. There was a little bit time when Hammer was gutted, but once they kind of started to bring Hammer back, Thor was never bad after that. And I'm surprised it took people so long to realize Thor just got a few good tools on him.
I mean, honestly, it's just an effect that you see happen with a lot of legends. I mean, take into consideration Onyx, for example, or Serial, characters that really were thought to be bad because of how slow they were, and then comes to be twos, and turns out they're actually amazing. Now, right now, I'm really surprised by the way Bokonko is playing Orv and just how well he is into putting up those strings and doing the wake-ups against side. He's definitely building up a lot of damage.
Bokonko also has Shadra's movement read pretty well, and he's able to catch a lot of landings. He's going to have a very hard time recovering from this, but maybe not. He's able to get the reversal. There we go, able to jump in for the Sarah. Bokonko just has Shadra's movements read down on lock, and even when he doesn't have the read, he still has good enough reaction times to the point where he's still able to catch him. I think Shadra, I don't think there's any out-of-game adaptation that we can see from him, maybe a different map, but it's going to be a lot of internal, in-game adaptation. Guy's going to have to switch up his dodges, switch up his dashes. I think there's still a lot of room for Shadra to prove us wrong and really, really make a comeback and go toe-to-toe with Bokonko, but I think the store just kind of has this number, and it's going to take a lot of mental effort to escape this little box that Bokonko is kind of shoving you, because he has his movement read down pat.
Yeah, but then again, you gotta take into consideration the skin change. That always gives a little bit of extra skill.
And a map too. Map change too. This could be good. Honestly, game 2 Shadra could be good.
I feel like one of the most important things when it comes down to these type of situations, whenever you lose the first stock, is just keeping up your mental. Like, Bokonko is definitely a fierce opponent to fight against, but I feel like if Shadra is able to, just keep it together, keep it cool-minded, and right now, look at that, with that weapon tosses to downer, goes for a grand pound. That was a crazy buildup of damage, and he keeps on going.
Ooh. Yeah, no, game 1's never a wash.
Yep.
Game 1 is never the full story.
Just like I said earlier, you never know what's about to happen, and Shadra is just showing off what he has on the closet, Now, switching back to the side, I feel like he's really struggling just to get the strings down. What was that competition of downers right there?
Right now, Bokonko, the thing is, it was the disjoint of the orb and also just the consistency that was really helping him out, but right now it's actually going to be the sheer brute strength of the hammer that's going to let Bokonko not quite pull ahead, but bring it a little bit closer to even. Looking over at Shadra, however, I think it's going to be the spear that's a bit better. The down like Ensig, but still... when we were kind of giggling over how many attacks they were whiffing during a few minutes ago, that was when Shadra was on the scythe, but that first stock, that was honestly really amazing, was on the spear, and Shadra was able to keep even on the spear, but Bokonko's hammer is looking a little scary right now. Bokonko is adjusting fast. Like, there was pressure on Shadra to adjust and adapt, but Bokonko is over-adapting and now over-correcting and adapting faster.
Yeah, and I feel like something that Bokonko has realized and that is taking into advantage is that, he sees that Shadra is going a lot more offensive. He's trying to be a lot more aggressive to build up damage. And Bokonko is utilizing that to just take the attacks that go on with and just punish. And that's one of the reasons why he's building up so much damage. Because, Hammer it's a weapon that just feeds on punishing the opponent. And if you sum up that to the fact that, Thor is one of the few characters that has the magnificent delay and Signature 2 combo, and there we go with that Silent Stare taking out the second set. That happened so fast I wasn't even able to finish.
So, first game, like we said, first game is never the full story. First game's never a wash. You can get absolutely 3-stocked and demolished during the first game, but then you can say, no. First game is the time to lose. This is the time to learn what not to do, and that's what you learn to adapt. First, if you're gonna lose early. That is... First game is never a wash, and you're allowed to take that time to adjust and to kind of set yourself up and warm up. I'm really over-explaining what warming up is, but that second game is a huge showing because Shadra was able to prove that they are warmed up. That first stock was looking incredible, and they were still able to keep even and keep moving pretty darn well for themselves. Bokonko just slowly pulled ahead. It wasn't like a huge stock. It wasn't a huge clip. It was just slowly outpacing and getting 41 to 59, a slowly bit better of these smaller engagements. So even when Shadra seems to be fully warmed up, Bokonko is very, very hot on his heels. So Shadra, last chance to impress me and save yourself from elimination.
Yeah, honestly, so far I'm really surprised by just the way Bokonko is playing. I'm so used to him just playing stuff just like terraces and just heavy damage, low string kind of characters, and seeing him actually, take a step back and just play with the orb and try to analyze his opponent it's new, but it's not bad. It's actually very surprising. And we got Shadra with the skin change, by the way, into the Ninja Turtle. I don't feel like it's doing much right now. That ground pound very good to set up the stocks even, and honestly, I feel it's just a matter of Shadra needing to adapt to what Bokonko is doing right now, because he is looking extremely strong in this last match of the set. Possible last match of the set.
Yeah, you never know. I mean, part of the fun with fighting games is being wrong.
Oh, that's a really nice way to put it, honestly.
Yeah.
I hadn't thought about it like that.
Yeah, the possibility of being wrong is sometimes what makes fighting games so fun. Because we can sit here and be like, oh, Shadra's washed, Bokonko's totally gonna win. I'm gonna put all my channel points on Bokonko, but like, this is actually pretty quickly becoming a very tight and close game. Like, this is the fact that this is probably some of the best we've seen Shadra play all day, maybe even all week, and it's this close, and it's really coming down to a bit of a nail biter. We could be wrong here today.
Ooh, that Sayer almost connects and gets punished by that delay gravity cancel and Sig. Honestly, we don't see that kind of punish a lot. Ooh, delayed recovery goes for the side.
You also said it earlier just how much Hammer feeds on punishes. So you read it in the future with that, my friend.
you got a point right there. No, right now Shadra is struggling to like get the kill confirmed, and that punish on the recovery with the Sayer orb. Finally getting the kill with an exhausted recovery, but a little bit of a build-up damage. Going on yellow is not really that bad sometimes, but then again, it really depends on your opponent. Bokonko is just not trying to stop the pressure. He just keeps on going, keeps on giving with the damage, and Ensig finally coming out.
You can tell that this is some of the best we have really ever seen Shadra, because this is also the best we've seen the Scythe. Usually it's like whiff a few times on Scythe and then get right over to Spear and then kind of like start hauling some booty. But the thing is that like Shadra is looking good on both weapons. Shadra is patching up these weak points and sewing in these holes in his pants really, really fast. And Bokonko can really only rely on hitting these huge callouts like that Ensig from earlier. That is some of the most success that he has seen in the past minute or so of gameplay. Hammer into Spear, dodges out of the
no!
The dare catches the approach. Shadra gets a little too hungry after fully warming up, after showing us what could be his full potential today. That is still Bokonko catching him on the approach. But still, like we said, Shadra has been grinding communities for years, and I don't think the guy is planning on stopping. So, any Baguette Senpai believers in chat, I think we'll be
Baguette
seeing quite a
Senpai.
bit more of them throughout this season.